Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So we'll continue reading from here. Yesterday we read some more beautiful pastimes. So it was at the age of 14 or 15 that Mahaprabhu was married to Lakshmi Devi, the daughter of Vallabhacharya, also of Nadia district. He was at this age considered to be one of the best scholars of Nadia, the renowned seat of Nyaya philosophy and Sanskrit learning. So this Nadia district, and especially this Navadvip Dham, is was considered to be one of the best place where all the scholars, all the pundits of Sanskrit learning and Nyaya philosophy. So all the scholars used to come here, and they would debate, they would discuss, and in debates, anybody who um, wins the debate is able to, in philosophy, in discussion, in debate, is able to win over the other pundit. So then that person would debate with another group. So this way all the pandit would debate with each other, and whoever wins, so that person would debate with another winner. So this thing was going on. Not to speak of the Smartha Pandits, the Nayakas were all Nayaka, Nayak, oh my god. Not to speak of the Smartha Pandit, the Nayaks were all afraid of confronting him, who? Our Mahaprabhu. So what to speak of Smartha Pandits? Smartha Pandits were anyways defeated. They were nowhere standing close to our Mahaprabhu. But even those who were discussing the or debating on the philosophy of Nyaya philosophy, even they were so afraid to confront, to debate with Sriman Mahaprabhu in literary discussions, because he was such a pandit. He would just, defeat others. Being a married man, that is, our Mahaprabhu at that time was a married man. He got married to Lakshmi Devi. He went to eastern Bengal on the banks of the Padma for acquirement of wealth. There he displayed his learning and obtained a good sum of money. So basically, Eastern Bengal is the Bangladesh side now, and because it on the banks of Padma River, and he went there to acquire wealth because he was a grihastha at that time, and the grihastha duty is to earn and to take care of the family. So he went to earn wealth there, and seeing his panditya, his learning, he obtained a very good amount of money from there. It was at this time that he preached Vaishnavism at intervals. So mostly he was debating in philosophy, in Sanskrit learning, and literary discussions. He was participating. And in between, at intervals, he was preaching Vaishnavism, the philosophy of Vaishnavism. After teaching him the principles of Vaishnavism, he ordered Tapan Mishra to go and live in Banaras. So this is after teaching him means Tapan Mishra. So after teaching Tapan Mishra the principles of Vaishnavism, he asked Tapan Mishra to go and to live in Banaras, because in Banaras also all these Mayavad philosophers were living at that time. During his residence in eastern Bengal, his wife Lakshmi Devi left this world from the effects of snake bite. So while he was in this eastern Bengal at that time, his wife Lakshmi Devi got bit by a snake, and therefore she left her body. She left this material world. On returning home, he found his mother in a mourning state. He consoled her with a lecture on the uncertainty of human affairs. That, when somebody takes birth, death is sure to come, as sure as death. There is a saying, and Srila Prabhupada always used to always quoted this verse. as sure as death. So death is sure to come for anybody who has taken birth, and old age and disease. And these three types of Adi Devik, Adi Atmik, Adi Bhautik. These kleshas will always be there. So our Mahaprabhu, he consoled his mother by uh, telling her, by explaining all these things to her with a lecture on the uncertainty of human affairs. That if we are in this material world, all these things will come, and everybody has to die today or tomorrow. It was at his mother's request that he married Vishnupriya Devi, the daughter of Raj Pandit Sanatan Mishra. So his mother, she was very worried that my elder son, uh, Vishwarup, he left house and he never came back because he became a sannyasi. So she was worried that Mahaprabhu will also leave the house and take sannyas. And out of fear, she wanted her son to get married again. And she was thinking that okay, if he gets married, then at least he will not leave the house. He will stay at home with his wife. So he married Vishnupriya Devi at his mother's request, who is the daughter of another Pandit, Raj Pandit Sanatan Mishra. His comrades joined him on his return from Pravas or sojourn. He was now so renowned that he was considered to be the best Pandit in Nadia. That is our Sri Mahaprabhu. Keshav Mishra of Kashmir, who had called himself the great Digvijayi, the world conqueror, came to Nadia with a view to debate the pundits of that place. So Keshav Mishra, he was from Kashmir, and he was given the title Digvijay, who would conquer the whole world. Nobody could defeat him. He always won. And he thought that, okay, this Nadia, all the Pandits are residing there. So let me go there and let me defeat these Pandits over there. So, his title will become even more well known. Great Digvijay. Uh, so, afraid of the so called conquering Pandit, the Tola professors of Nadia left their town on the pretense of invitation. Now, when this Digvijay was coming, Keshav Mishra from Kashmir, when he was coming, all the professors, the pundits, they they were so scared that it is impossible to win with this person. It is impossible to win in debate with Keshav Mishra. So, in the pretense that okay, they have some other invitation or they have to go somewhere for some work, they all left the town and they all went here and there. So, Keshav Kashmiri, sorry, Keshav Mishra of Kashmir, he's also called Keshav Kashmiri. He met Mahaprabhu at the Barokona Ghat in Mayapur. And after a very short discussion with him, he got defeated by our Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu was very young at that time, and Keshav Kashmiri was older than him. But it was a very short discussion. What to speak of debate? But in a very short discussion, in a very short time, Mahaprabhu defeated him. And mortification obliged him to decamp. So he had to go back, he had to return. He was so embarrassed. Nimai Pandit was now the most important Pandit of the times, and after he defeated Keshav Kashmiri, uh, his name went far and wide that this Keshav Kashmiri was also defeated by Nimai Pandit. So now he's more glorified, most important Pandit of the times. It was at the age of 16 or 17 that he traveled to Gaya with a host of his students. And there, our Mahaprabhu took his spiritual initiation from Sripad Ishwar Puri. So, Srila Ishwar Puri Pad is the spiritual Diksha Guru of our Mahaprabhu. And what was his age? He was just 16 or 17. He went to Gaya actually for this is for the shrad of his father, for this um, rituals after his father left his body. So he went there with some of his students, and there he met Srila Ishwar Puripat, who is a Vaishnav sannyasi, and he's a disciple of one of our most revered acharyas, the renowned Sripad Madhavendra Puri. So Srila Ishwar Puripad is the disciple of Srila Madhavendra Puri, and our Mahaprabhu is the disciple of Srila Ishwar Puri. I request all of you to make notes so that we don't forget these points. We'll have a quiz again very soon. Upon his return to Nadia, Nimai Pandit turned religious preacher, and his religious nature became so strongly represented that Advait Prabhu, Srivas Pandit, and others who had before the birth of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu already accepted the Vaishnava faith were astonished at the change in the young man. So, Sri Advait Prabhu, Sri Advait Acharya, he was, I forgot the exact age, but almost 30 to 37 years, if not mistaken. Uh, so he was much, much older than Mahaprabhu. And Srivas Pandit was also older than Mahaprabhu. And there were others. And they had seen Mahaprabhu, since he was a little boy, they had seen Mahaprabhu. And after Mahaprabhu came back from Gaya, and after he took initiation, spiritual initiation, he started preaching the Vaishnava philosophy. And our Advaita Acharya, our Srivas Pandit, and you know, they were already into Vaishnava philosophy. They were already preaching Vaishnava philosophy, and they had accepted that Vaishnava faith. So they were so astonished seeing the change in Mahaprabhu before and after the Gaya trip. So he was then no more a contending Nayayik, means he was not debating anymore with the other Pandits. That was not his job anymore. A wrangling Smarta and a criticizing rhetorician. If anybody would say something wrong, something going wrong, then Mahaprabhu, they immediately cut down and say that, oh, you are wrong, you don't even understand this. But when he came back from Gaya, this completely changed, and he was no more criticizing it, these people who were, debating wrongly or presenting wrong points or not some mistake here and there. No more criticizing them, no more wrangling Smarta. Means he was not uh, defeating any Smarta Pandits, or he was not getting into all these debates. So they were so surprised, they were shocked, astonished that wow, what a change suddenly. He swooned at the name of Krishna and behaved as an inspired man under the influence of his religious sentiment. That means that after he took his spiritual initiation, Mahaprabhu, just by hearing the name of Krishna, Mahaprabhu would become ecstatic, and he would inspire. He would behave like a somebody who is under a religious sentiment. We say that, oh, you are become sentimental, suddenly start crying, suddenly start laughing, suddenly start dancing. So Mahaprabhu was behaving like that after his initiation. It has been described by Murari Gupta, an eyewitness, that he showed his heavenly powers in the house of Srivas Pandit in the presence of hundreds of his followers who were mostly well read scholars. So, his followers, before that, Mahaprabhu's followers, they were all scholars. But what kind of scholars? Well read scholars. So, they were all scholars in Gyan, in philosophy, in Nyaya, in literary works. They were all scholars, but they had not realized, there was no God realization. It was just bookish knowledge, bookish scholarly. But Mahaprabhu, he displayed his potency, his transcendental powers in the house of Srivas Pandit in the presence of these hundreds of his followers at that time. And this was described by Murari Gupt. Who is Murari Gupt? He's not okay. This is something I'm giving homework to everyone who is present here. Who is Murari Gupt? Tomorrow when we meet for the reading session, I will ask this question. So who is Murari Gupt in another Leela, some other Leela, pastime of the Lord? So you have to see that. Okay, what is the pastime and who is Murari Gupt? So he was an eyewitness who personally saw um, these powers that were displayed by Mahaprabhu in the house of Srivas Pandit. So with that, we'll pause here for today. Krishna will continue tomorrow. And thank you so very much, your devotees. Vancha kalpatribhascha, kripa sindhu bhaivacha, patitanam pavanebhyo, वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील जयप्रताप स्वामी गुरु महाराज की जय। श्रील भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल।
हरि बोल।
हरि
हरि
बोल।
बोल।
हरि बोल।